Hey, spiritual beings, happy Easter to you. Happy Resurrection Day. I am so grateful to be able to come and give the wrap out, the true wrap out to our Lenten experience, the Lent 2026 experience, the flow. Thank you for joining the flow. Thank you for growing and building this powerful community, for standing and holding space for one another as we set high intentions, as we claim miracles. We actually claimed miracles and open ourselves up to it. And I'm so grateful that we all had took those courageous steps together. I wanted to share with you just a little something to wrap us out, to um, close out this season of growth as we move to higher heights, and then talk about, well, what's next, right? What's next with our next? What am I supposed to do Monday, right? Like, so first, let's start where we are and let's celebrate, right? We made it through 40 days of prayer, of fasting, of feasting on the truth, of releasing what's been holding us back, releasing old concepts of ourselves, of becoming the spiritual beings that we are, recognizing the relationship that we have with God and opening and expanding and deepening that relationship. We've been building a trust experience with God. We've been making new covenant. This has been a rich season. You've been busy. You've been doing this internal God work, and I just want to acknowledge you. I want you to acknowledge yourself and pat yourself on the back, because today is the day that we acknowledge the rise. You know more about who you are than you ever have. Whether you participated in the full experience or you came in and you got what you needed, what you received from this experience was sufficient, right? And just like the tomb couldn't hold Jesus, right? The limitations that you said no to, the limitations that you crucified, the concept of yourself that you completely let go is now an extinction level event, right? That can hold you. Just like the tomb couldn't hold Jesus, neither can those old paradigms hold you. The same power that raised Jesus is the same power that is rising right now in you. What happened? What just happened with us? What did we go through in those 40 days? So we did what I say, these three things happened, right? The first thing is that we released. There's some old belief patterns that you unearthed, and you may still be in the process of releasing, but we know that there was a light that was shined in our own souls, and we saw some spaces that's like, this is my opportunity to heal. This is my opportunity to let go. We did some releasing. We let go of some old ways we were identifying ourselves, right? Old ways of seeing ourselves, old emotional patterns that we were trapped in. All of those were let go. There was a crucifixion that happened. We rested, right? We surrendered it all to God. We trusted. If you were part of our experience, especially these last few days where we did heavy forgiveness work, you stopped forcing outcomes and just surrendered it all to God. You released and you rested, and now is a time to rise. We get to rise in this new awareness of who we are, rising in your new identity, rising in your new power. That's your resurrection day experience. And so I'm so excited, and give yourself permission, not just to rise, because rising is what we do. Rising is what we're here to do. Rising is what you have earned. You have done the soul work. It is your time to rise into your new experience, to your new self expression, and to you that is in full possession of your dream and your desire, of the promise that God has placed in your heart. So we're here to rise, right? And then what's next? What's next? And I'm laughing because what's next comes up. I'm thinking to myself, what's next? And instead of thinking about what's next for me to do, it's really what's next for me to become. Like, now I just get to live what I've been practicing. That each and every day you've been building spiritual practice. As we talked about these things, you've been contemplating prayer. I bet you, for those who prayer may not necessarily be a part of your daily experience, but you say, I'm someone who has sits in the morning and prays, or what you do you would consider spiritual practice, that you've been contemplating these ideas of and grabbing on and trying things, these challenges, all of this. Now we just need to incorporate and live from it, right? So now it's not just what I did in these 40 days during Lent. It's like I practice for how I'm going to live. So I wanted to close out and just talk about spiritual practice. That if you have not made decisions for your spiritual practice, that today it's like, this is how I'm going to live. I'm going to live connected to the power and presence of God in brand new intentional ways. And we will, like I said, I'll share with you all what we can do together as a community. But you've been developing spiritual practice for yourself. And so if something like Lent really works for you, where there is an appointment time in the morning that you are coming into a collective to practice the presence of God, absolutely wonderful. So we'll find something for you. That's your seek and find. What can go here? Is it rewatching the Lenten experience? I highly recommend that. Save this time and say, I'm going to watch it again now that I know the whole path, right? Maybe there's some exercises you didn't do. Now you get to take the recordings and work them. You get to join the community and work it. But building your spiritual practice, right? So there are three parts of that experience because anything that you're doing to mastery, you must practice for it. And so the desire of your heart, you want to be a master of that. If I want a greater health of my body, there's going to be some self-mastery in order to have that experience. Or I'll just have these bouts of feeling better as opposed to consistent health and well-being. So we want to practice the presence of God. So the first thing we want to do is align with that in the morning. You know that this is going to be something that you're doing throughout the day. And I want you to say it's doable. Building my spiritual practice is doable. I'm not going to ask anything of you that you're not capable of doing. It's just going to require some intention. And so we're setting an intention for connecting with God. You know how good you felt tuning in each and every day. It wasn't me. It wasn't because you came in and you found me. And as delightful as I think I am, it's because it feels good to connect with the power and presence of God. You got to have some God talk, some God conversations as you kicked off your day, as you incorporated it into some phase of your day. So, the beginning of the day, find a way to align with God, okay? And during the day, you're going to, it's about remembering your spiritual nature as you move throughout the day, staying in lockstep with the intention that you set for your day, the atmosphere that's created. Now you want to keep nurturing it so that you don't start off high and end up low at the end of the day, that you're fueling yourself through the day. And we'll talk about some ways to do that. And then at the end is it's about accepting the day with gratitude and releasing it, right? That you're going to let go of your day. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about spiritual practice because the risen you now, this new you, came because of the spiritual work that you did as you became at one with your desire, as you built and walked along the path of Jesus, who discovered his oneness with God and acted like it. And that's what you're doing. You're discovering your oneness with God, and now you're acting like it. So now we got to go act like it. Now we have to go practice this presence that we said yes to. We have to go abide in the dream that we have said yes to. We have to go and be that vessel for it to come through. We have to walk worthy. That's what we're doing right now. So your practice helps you to walk worthy. The morning is where we establish the spiritual atmosphere of the day. So you can do, some decisions around how do I develop my morning practice is one to determine what's a good starting point in terms of time and duration. So how long do you have for your spiritual practice in the morning? If you have a morning commitment where you have maybe school children to handle with school or other caregiving responsibilities, or you're going to work, then you want to decide how much time can I allocate for my morning practice that's uninterrupted. And so so then first just when. And if you're like, I don't have a time, there's always earlier. Earlier is always an option. It just may be something that's going to require you to make a deeper commitment. And so earlier can be 5 minutes earlier. If you groaned when I said earlier, get up a little earlier, try 5 minutes earlier. Sometimes we think of earlier like I have to join the 5 a.m. club. And if 5 a.m. is not your wake up hour, then find a time that works where you can take the time you need. So I want you to begin the morning practice where you are. If you don't have one, start with 5 or 10 minutes. And in that 5 or 10 minutes, set yourself up by deciding what you're going to do with that time. So first, it's making a decision about the timing and the duration. So I'm going to have spiritual practice from 7:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to use that half hour. During that half hour, I'm going to do what? I recommend music. Music is a great way to kind of get you into the space of worship. It can be any kind of music. It can be meditative music. It can be praise and worship music. It can be, I listen to one of my favorite songs is some house music that I listen to that is about setting the intention for the day, and that groove gets me into it. Play some music, right? And maybe you're playing the music as you're getting out of bed, as you're stretching out, right? Maybe you're doing some movement, some sacred movement in the morning, and that's one of your practices. So I have on here some breath work. I have on here speaking affirmations and denials, reading scripture, or reading the daily inspiration, or a inspirational text like that, right? So if to wake yourself up, maybe you don't want to wake up in the morning and go right into meditation because it puts you back to sleep. So we're going to make a conscious choice in the morning for how we begin. All right. So that's the first thing. Then during the day, you've set this atmosphere. Here's some of the options. Let me just say that. Let me repeat that. This morning rhythm that you're establishing is just some of the options. And just pick two, right? Maybe pick two of these to work with, two or three. The next thing is during the day, right? So during the day, what you're doing is remembering who you are. You're remembering your relationship with God. You're staying in remembrance and in lockstep with your desire, with your intention. Because know that there are so many distractions in the day that will take you away from doing and being what you said yes to, because you're introducing a new thing into your environment, and your environment already was full, right? Even if it was filled with time that you weren't being productive, it still was filled with something, whether it was maybe excess of TV, excess games on your phone, excess social media, excess whatever, right? Doing things that weren't in alignment with what you said yes to. So we have to remember and be aware of the power and presence of God within us, to remember our spiritual identity, to remember the divine assignment that we've said yes to stay conscious. So we can do that by using anchor words. Anchor words are so powerful because perhaps what it is that you have declared your body the temple of the living God, and you have committed yourself to holistic living, that you're going to take care of yourself, you're going to rest your body, that you're going to move your body, that you're going to fuel your body. And that is your intention. I'm going to give my body good fuel, I'm going to give my body good rest, and I'm going to give my body some good movement. And you've made a commitment to that. And so as you move through your day, perhaps your anchor word is I am alive, right? Alive, I am alive. Maybe what your anchor word is peace. Maybe your anchor word is energy. And so you use the anchor word to remind you, to anchor you back to what you said yes to. Selah moments are, so Selahs are those pauses that happen in music. And an amazing artist uses the pause so beautifully. And it creates and sculpts moments and movements and energy all in those pauses. So your Selah looks like an intentional pause. That just may be taking 7 minutes, and 7 minutes of just quiet. And if you plan this out, there's always a good time to do 7 minutes. I like to do my Selahs before I enter someplace. So if I'm driving somewhere, I can do mine in the car. And I just sit there and relax for a moment, just to take a break. And I can breathe during that time. I can affirm during that time. I can close my eyes and just breathe. It doesn't have to have an agenda other than just taking a break. And I like to think of these as my letting breaks. I'm letting things work together for my good. I'm getting ready to walk into the grocery store. And so I'm just sending out the energy of God before I go in there, right? I'm sending out clarity and love before I go in there. And I'm just going to sit quietly and let it come together. That's one of the ways you can use a Selah moment. You can do walking meditations where you just on anytime you have to walk, just use it as a chance to center yourself. I look at walking sometimes as I'm walking away from the challenge, I'm walking away from the problem, I'm walking away from the concern, and I'm walking to solutions. I'm walking to freedom. So I use the walking as a visual affirmation and denial, a tactile one. Listening to music throughout the day can keep you connected. Speaking your affirmations to yourself, writing them down, using breath work. So all of this here on the slide are ways you can stay connected through the day that don't require you to stop so much as just to remember, right? So both find a practice or two that you can say, I'm going to carry this during the day. One of the things I use as a tool is my phone. I have my phone with me all the time. And so I use my phone as a timer, and I'll set a timer for how long I'm going to do something. I may set a timer for 7 minutes. I'll set a timer on my phone, a reminder rather, for if there's something I want to do every hour. Maybe every hour I want to have my alarm go off and I just say thank you, God. And so I want that to happen every hour. I'll put a reminder on my calendar. So you can do things like that so that that happens, and you have these ways to help you stay tapped in. Okay, I'm going to move on to your evening practice. So wrapping your day out with gratitude is a great way. What are 5 things that you're grateful for that happened that day? That's a very simple thing to incorporate into your evening practice. Even if you don't write them down, if you just speak them out and acknowledge them, because it lets you return and reflect on your day. What worked well in your day? What was your fruit from the day? What insight did you get about your dream, about your who you're becoming? What clues did you get that you have shifted and you are now moving in a new direction, that you're now expanded? What feedback did you get? That you need the opportunity to capture that. And whether you do it every day, or maybe that's something that you give yourself permission to do on the weekends. It doesn't have to, you get to design this practice for what works for you. Um, the last thing is this in this last section, you can also just start the day like you end the day like you started it. Maybe you're reading sacred text, maybe you're praying and meditating. You could absolutely book in your day with the same activities if you choose, where you set your intention at the top of the day, you give thanks at the bottom of the day. Your evening practice is yours to choose, but you do want to you want to close your day in order. It's one of those things that it's when you incorporate this into your practice and order your steps this way, you'll find that there's room for it. But again, identify the activities you're going to do, the time, and the duration. My evening practice will take me 15 minutes. In those 15 minutes, I will write my gratitude list. I will read my spiritual mind treatment, and I will sit in the silence for 5 minutes. I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes. Maybe that's your practice. Maybe you like to pray out loud, and so you're gonna pray out loud, and for as long as it takes. But again, if you need to put a timer on it, give yourself permission to time it. Say, I have 15 minutes to give to this. When that 15-minute timer goes off, if you want to continue the practice, keep going. But you kept your word to yourself. And here's the thing, consistency is the goal. Whatever you choose, the goal is not to be perfect. It's not to say that I spent 62 minutes practicing the presence of God today. That's not the goal. Consistency is the goal. Focus on developing a routine that you can do consistently. If it's just one thing that you can do, choose that one thing. Focus on a faithful routine, right? That I'm just going to be faithful. I'm building up trust in my word. I'm building up trust in the power and presence of God in me. And so I'm just faithfully adhering to my routine. I want to see, as a metaphysician, we try life, right? We try the principles out. I want to see if this improves my life. If I practice the presence of God every day in this way, does my life get better? Do I feel better? Are my relationships better? And then the last thing, I mean, it's not the last thing, but something, it's not consistency being the goal. It's having these intentional moments of touching the power and presence of God, of aligning. It feels good. You get to feel the fruit of the spirit. So having these intentional moments is more important than being perfect at your practice. Okay. So we're rising, 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 and living. So we rising above, we've risen above that old concept of ourselves. We have let it go. We've released and let go of the limitations, the beliefs that we're not enough, that there's not enough. And now we get to live in the overflow. We get to live the teaching that we said yes to. We get to live what we've been feasting on. Now we can live it. And so I want to invite you to declare that I'm alive, that I rise in this newness, this new me that has emerged. I rise in my divine awareness that there's only one power and one presence active. And I live, move, and have my being in it. And it's good and very good. I rise in power. I rise in peace. I rise in love. I rise in radiant light. I am free from those limitations of the past. I am free from being fixated on appearances because I remember that I'm a spiritual being and I work with God's stuff, which is invisible substance. It is invisible potential. And I bring that invisible potential into visibility, into experience. I know who I am. I know what I do. I rise and I live. We are all here today to claim the resurrection experience. I'm so grateful that I know who I am. I'm so grateful that you know who you are. And we get to be in community and shine and reflect God's light to one another in our own unique, unrepeatable way. So I just thank you so much for this experience together. I thank you for Lit 2026, that we did this thing together. We made a beautiful, beautiful journey together. And I'm immensely grateful. I thank you for your love offerings. I thank you for the gifts that you have given. I thank you for how you bless the ministries. I thank you how you many of you registered for Up Church Lit Experience, and Up Church is moving and growing. You made love offerings to Up Church and to Christ Universal Temple, the community that many of you are tapping in from, and I'm grateful for that. And then there's some of you who gave some money directly to me, that you gifted me and gave me a love offering, and I have personal thank yous coming, but thank you so much for supporting the work that I'm doing. It feels good to know that that is helping you, right? That this work is helping and supporting you in your growth, your growth. So I just want to say again, thank you so much. And listen, the best is yet to come. This was good, but the best is yet to come. Here's what you can do starting Monday, right? So I said, you have an email that's going to come from me, and it's going to give you some other opportunities to work together with me. But what you can do for sure is you can go to the Good Things to Life community and you can listen to the recording. You can go to the Good Things to Life community and you can share a testimony of how this experience blessed you. You may go and read testimonies. Excuse me, maybe you don't want to share anything, but you can go and read the testimony that others are sharing, because in that it's inspirational, right? So that's something that you can do. You have in hand already. In the email where you're going to get this recording, there's also going to be the links to get to these other goodies. And so again, I'm grateful. Know that there is more coming, that there is, I'm excited, I'm alive, I'm alive, and I have more to share with you, opportunities for us to grow together. So happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day. I bless you, I love you, and I trust that you're going to have the most amazing God inspired day, that the mighty work that's happening in you is turning you all the way on, that you are feeling the vitality of the Spirit in you right now, that you're trusting God more than you've ever trusted God before, that you're feeling the oneness like you've never felt it before, that you know that you are invincible, that you can do all things through the Christ that strengthens you. I appreciate you. God bless you in the name, in the nature, and the consciousness of the Christ. I pray and I let it be so. And so it is. Amen. Day. Bless you. I'll see you soon.